Okay, about to enter the freeway, the fun way. The perfect car for today's video. Parking OCD. Have to pick up some supplies first, then story time. It's packed today. No satisfactory parking spaces. So I'm gonna walk here. Walking's good for you. It's good to move around sometimes. When you were in high school, did you or do you, if you're currently in high school, know any Asian car enthusiasts? What do their parents buy them? Some kind of Asian pocket rocket type car. I didn't get an Asian pocket rocket type car when I was in high school. My parents didn't buy me a car. They didn't buy me anything, not even a Yugo. My cousins had a Honda Civic hatchback. The kids in my school had Honda Civics and base model Eclipses. I wasn't in a rich school, middle class, so no one had an actual VTEC and no one had an actual Eclipse Turbo. They wanted them, but they got the base models. But I was still jealous. So instead of becoming an import car fanatic, I became an American muscle guy. I was consumed by hatred. It's hilarious now. I'm grown up, so it's hilarious how much hate I had towards Asian cars just because I was so jelly of them. So I wanted to destroy all of them in a straight line. So I wanted my driver's license since I was like 3 or 4. I loved cars ever since I was a little baby. So I was one of those kids. I was counting down the days until I was 16. My first car, right here, S10 Blazer. There's a white zombie sticker in the back, handicap sticker on the towing hitch. I took off the Blazer logo and put V6 on the side in gaudy chrome letters. I was proud it was a V6. Not rims, those are hubcaps. That was my first car. I wanted a GMC. I mean, I wanted a Corvette, but it was going to be a long time before I got a Corvette. So I wanted a GMC Typhoon. I also couldn't afford a GMC Typhoon, so I got this thing. It was like 9 years old at the time. Couple $1,000s. It wasn't expensive or anything. So I'm going to talk about this right now, utilizing the GoPro right now. Okay, let's go for a drive and a talk. That's a good sound. Give it a rev. Oh, sport mode. Then give it a rev. Oh, I got a pop. I just fueled up right now 5 miles ago, so that's why my fuel economy is so low. Let's keep it on the G meter. I'm gonna enter the freeway at speed. I might upload a video I did earlier entering the on-ramp if it turned out okay, but I'm definitely going to enter the freeway at speed. Okay, here we go. It's gonna be a few side streets then the freeway. So I was in denial about that Blazer. 160 horsepower and 230 foot-pounds of torque. It did 0 to 60 in about 9. It was about a 17-second quarter-mile vehicle. So it was faster than a lot of the automatic Honda Civics I was running to in the late 90s when I was still a kid. So I was beating them all, but I was still in denial. I would rev on all of them. I'm glad I didn't lose my license, but I would rev on every Honda Civic with a muffler that like a aftermarket muffler that I ran into. And that Blazer was quick enough to get 99.9% of them. And I will tell you about the cars that annihilated me here in a second. So I was in denial about that Blazer. It was 160 horsepower, 230 foot-pounds of torque, but I was in denial and I was thinking in my head that it's 200 because the Vortec Blazers were like 195 or 200 horsepower. So I just convinced myself it was 200. Total denial. there was no internet, or it wasn't as common when I was in high school, so we didn't have videos telling us what modifications are scams. So I believed in Ricer math. Tornado, that added 50 horsepower. K&N filter added 25 horsepower. Performance plugs, spark plugs added 10 horsepower. Performance spark plug wires added 25 horsepower. So in my head, my Blazer, okay, that's a 50, 25, like I had around 280 in my head, just like a GMC Typhoon. I believed in my head with all these crap mods, my Blazer was as fast as a GMC Typhoon, but I knew I was still in denial. Deep in the back of my head, I knew I was BSing myself, but I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to believe I had a GMC Typhoon. And like I said, I revved on every freaking Honda Civic I ran into. So immature, man. I'm glad I didn't lose my license or anything like that. Or get a ticket. I never got a ticket. I just got some crazy luck with that. But when I lost, I'm going to tell you about the time I lost. So, in high school, I bagged groceries every weekend. I didn't make too much money, but I spent every cent I had on that Blazer. You know, I spent money to get it painted. I spent money to lower it. I didn't go to my prom. I didn't get my first girlfriend until my senior year of high school. And even then, I didn't go to my prom. I wanted to spend my money on my damn Blazer. Thankfully, I had a understanding girlfriend in high school, but she probably, you know, I don't have anything bad to say about it. She probably respected me a lot. I had a job, you know, after I was a kid in high school. You know, she had a boyfriend with a car that took her to Jack in the Box after school. So, you know, I was a good boyfriend. I could say that. I took care of my girlfriend, man. I took her to Jack in the Box. She had a ride while all her friends had to walk. So I was pretty well-rounded, having a job, having a Blazer. You know, it's not a Beverly Hills lifestyle or anything. I didn't have like a Ferrari to drive around in, but hey, we were in a middle-class neighborhood, so I was doing pretty good. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to punch it on the freeway because it's kind of traffic, but I'll give it a little revs on the freeway. Okay, so I lowered my Blazer, put in all those claimed horsepower mods, thought I had 280 horsepower, just like a GMC Typhoon. I was feeling pretty good about myself because I was crushing every Honda Civic I was running into, because none of them were VTEC. I'm pretty sure all of them were automatics, because I wasn't from a rich school in a rich area, so people had base models of performance cars, so it was easy prey for my S10. One of the days that crushed my soul, and I'm gonna represent it right here with the freeway acceleration. I'm clear. This is one of my ways I like to have some fun. Enter the freeway at speed. See, that's fun for me. That's a way I have fun with the car. Step on the gas, enter the freeway. Now, let's get out sport mode and look at the MPG. There it is, 23. Damn, that's bad. Okay, let's improve this a little bit. I will go into cruise control at 65. Okay, so see how I entered the freeway? I've always liked doing that. My Blazer sounded good. I put down V6s a lot, but the Blazer, the 4.3 from GM, that was a good sounding V6. It sounded better than any Honda, in my opinion, when I was a kid. So it was fun stepping on the gas every time I entered the freeway, to hear my car, to accelerate, to think I'm going as fast as a Typhoon, even though I'm going 0 to 60 in about 9 quarter mile in 17. I'm pretty sure those mods didn't add much to my horsepower. I did gut it though. I pulled out the seats, and I pulled out the center console. I removed about 100 pounds, which is not much. That's only like equivalent of 10 horsepower. But one of the days that crushed my soul, I was depressed this day. I didn't cry. I probably almost cried, but I didn't cry. So see how I entered the freeway at, like, you know, I like to punch it when I enter the freeway traffic right now, people are rubbernecking because someone got in an accident. Oh, look at my eco meter. It's green. Okay, the day that crushed my soul, I'll get to the story finally. I was entering the freeway, man. I had my foot to the floor, man. I wanted to send that gas pedal through the floorboard. You know what happened? A BMW 3 Series passed me like I was standing still. And you know what's more insulting? It was like a mom. And I don't think she was even trying. But that BMW blew by me like I was standing still. That freaking hurt my feelings so bad, dude. I was butt hurt. That was like a bad nightmare for me. I try to block that out of my mind. Like I'll never forget that day. I was going home. This was college. That was like my first year of college. I was getting off of class. I was entering the on-ramp, foot to the floorboard, wanted to hear that 4.3 V6, 2 cylinders lopped off of a 305 Rumble. Then a BMW 3 Series, some mom passed me like I was standing still. And I'm pretty sure a 90s 3 Series BMW is a 15-second quarter-mile time, 0 to 60 in the 7s, maybe 6s. So it had a good 2-3 seconds on quarter-mile time on me. So of course I was gonna look like I was standing still. Yeah, traffic's slow today. I'm just in the slow lane. People are just rubbernecking right now. That crushed my soul. And here was the nail in the coffin to my soul. I was with my ex-girlfriend, my high school girlfriend. I had just put in my performance spark plug wires. I put in my performance split fire spark plugs. I was with my ex-girlfriend, okay? We pulled up next to a Prelude SH, 195 horsepower. They have VTEC. I thought my Blazer had 280 horsepower, so I thought I was gonna wreck this Prelude. Easy kill. I revved on the guy. He obliged. He destroyed me. Tore me a new one. By 60, he was like 5 cars ahead of me. I got wrecked. And my ex was like, wow, that Honda's really fast. And I brainwashed her, man. I brainwashed her thinking Hondas suck. Because, you know, she was with me a lot of times when I was drag racing. You know, it's just irresponsible, you know. But, hey, I'm reflecting back now. Don't do that. Don't do that sort of thing. So she was used to me wrecking Honda Civics. So this Prelude, man, tears me a new one. And she was like impressed, man. And that hurt my feelings. She was like, holy crap. That Prelude was fast. Because I got her into wanting a Firebird. And, you know, I got her wanting a Firebird. You know, I got her into the American muscle, you know, mentality. And she was like super impressed by that Prelude. And Prelude like 99, 98 Prelude, the SH, the 195 horsepower VTEC ones, I think they might be 205. What do they run in the quarter mile? About a 15.6. 0 to 60 in about 7 flat, 6.8 high 6s maybe. Yeah, he was like 5 cars ahead of me by 60. It was an ass kicking. You know what I said? I made the classic BS excuse. I said, oh man, I don't think I installed my spark plugs right. I like totally BS. So, oh man, maybe I didn't push. I think I'm misfiring. I used the classic misfiring excuse. That was a straight up ricer excuse, and I didn't like ricers at all, and I made it. I was crushed, man. And that's when I kind of like came to terms, and I realized my Blazer was never 280 horsepower. It was probably still 160. I still liked my Blazer, you know, I still liked it. I still took care of it. But after that, I gave up in mods, and shortly after that happened, someone hit my Blazer while it was parked and it got totaled. And at that point, you know, I didn't have much money. I was still a kid. I didn't want to like cars anymore. And this is going to be a different story for some other day. But after my Blazer, I drove a Dodge Neon for about 2 or 3 years because I just didn't want to like cars anymore. Because, you know, those experiences getting wrecked by a BMW and a Prelude SH, it hurt my feelings, man. It crushed my soul. And in my head I was like, it's gonna be a long time before I ever get a Corvette or something cool. So I kind of gave up. I was emo about it. And then 2 years later, after my Dodge Neon that I bought because, you know, my Blazer was gone, I got a Buick Regal GS supercharged, and my heart was whole again. I was happy again. Modded that car. I might upload my old footage of that Buick Regal GS. Absolutely love that car. And here's the point of maturing. This is my daily right now. Fiat Abarth 500, 160 horsepower, 170 foot-pounds of torque. It's the slowest car in its class. Fiesta ST, Mini Cooper S, Golf GTIs, Honda Civic SIs, I'll lose to all of those cars in a drag race. And that's fine with me. I have no desire of modding this car. I just enjoy it. I like it. It's a manual. It sounds better than any 4-cylinder car out there, which is one of the main factors, one of the main reasons to why I bought this car. It's the best sounding 4-cylinder car I've ever heard. And when I heard this car, I'm like, I want one of those cars. I had every intention of buying this car in 16 to 17 years for my sister's future kid. This is what I was gonna buy them, so that they'll have a cool, fun, non-dangerous first car. But once I heard it, and once I saw the market, that they're losing half of their value after 3 years, I wanted an Abarth for myself. And I'm at that point in my life. I don't care if I lose a drag race. I just don't care anymore. I just want to have fun. And looking back at how I was when I was a kid, I should have left my Blazer just like this. I should have left it blue. I should have not lowered it. I shouldn't have spent any money on it. And I should have enjoyed life a little more. I should have went bowling more, you know. I should have went to the prom, because I'm not a social guy, man. I wasn't a super social guy in high school. But, you know, no regrets really. If I could turn back the clock and if I had a time machine and I could tell my younger self how to treat life, I would tell him, you're not a social guy. You don't go to any dances, but hey, you got a girlfriend in your senior year. You're the cool boyfriend who has a car. I mean, I didn't have the best car, but you have a car, you have a job, you take her to Jack in the Box, you know, or McDonald's. Have fun with it. Enjoy having a car, enjoy having that freedom of having a car. And I would have done that a lot more, you know, when I was a kid. No regrets, but I would tell myself, dude, you're gonna have a Corvette someday. And someday you're not gonna care about what you drive. One of your favorite cars when you grow up is gonna be a Fiat Abarth 500, which doesn't exist now, because I'm talking to my 1999/2000 self. I'm gonna tell myself, you're gonna have a Corvette someday. You're gonna have a Buick Regal GS someday. You're gonna have cars that satisfy you in speed, and eventually you're gonna mature to a point where you have a Fiat Abarth 500, which is the slowest car in its class, and you don't care. You stop caring because you just want to have fun. Just have fun, guy. Or maybe I shouldn't tell myself any of that. Maybe life happened the way it did to turn me to the person I am now. Happy Saturday, everyone. Buckle up for safety. Don't drink and drive. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy life.